Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast that was created on purpose with a purpose to empower, uplift, and guide others to the center of God's perfect will. Kingdom Culture family, welcome back to the Kingdom Culture Podcast. I hope everybody's been having a great week. This week I wanted to talk about our reactive states and how, being over capacity could take you into stress and feeling overwhelmed and feeling, angry and all of these things. So last week I had a lot of things to do and they just kept running and running and running in my mind. It was like open tabs that I had for every task that I needed to do. And I kept thinking about the next day and the next day and the next day. And I felt like I was at full capacity, emotionally, mentally, and physically. So I wanted to talk about it, right? What does that look like? How does that feel? What should we become aware of when we're feeling this way? And I want to give you guys tips that you can do to get yourself out of that state or allow yourself to rest without feeling guilty of not getting something done, right? So for me, when I'm at full capacity, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling, angry. I feel disoriented. I just want to sleep. I'm unable to focus. I have no desire to work. And then my body reacts to all of that with headaches, pain, and then pain in my leg because for some reason, that's how my body reacts. Like that's how I know that I'm over capacity and I'm feeling overstressed because my legs start hurting because of all the overthinking. And it was so cool when I started learning about this stuff because your body reacts to every emotion that you have. And so if you don't find ways to release them, then your body will continue to react to them and you'll always feel exhausted. And before I started to learn about this stuff and started my, journey with self-development, I always felt so sleepy. I always wanted to be in bed. I had no motivation to do anything. And I always felt like I was in the next day or in anxiety. So let's continue to talk about it, right? So you could, become easily frustrated or angry. You can feel anxious or stressed out more frequently. You could have mood swings, that means that you're experiencing sudden and intense changes in mood. You can have reduced creativity, which means that you're finding it hard to come up with new ideas or solutions. And again, you can lose motivation. So, a significant drop in enthusiasm or drive, these are all factors that you need to become aware of, or emotions that you need to become aware of, so that you know that you're at full capacity and you have to take a break, right? So you could also feel like super hungry. I used to stress eat a lot. And my go-tos were gummies or a cheeseburger, fries, and a chocolate shake. And then I started learning that the fact that, the foods that we eat actually also have a reaction to how we're thinking and how our body feels, right? So you don't want to feed your body a bunch of grease because your body's going to use a lot of energy to digest the food and you're just going to feel more tired. So now, instead of having a big cheeseburger with bacon and fries, I try to eat like small snacks or fruits or things like that to keep me going because your body needs that. You also have to get, enough sleep. That's another thing that I found very helpful. Because if you don't get 8+ hours of sleep, your body's already exhausted and you are already in a mindset of, having a reactive day instead of proactive day, right? So you're reacting to everything out of stress and anxiety because your body's not well rested, right? Another thing that I do when I'm feeling overwhelmed is I start to go on a walk. So I go on a walk and I'm praying to the Lord, asking him like, hey, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? Can you help me figure out what's going on in my mind and my heart so that, I can walk away from it or release it and keep going. And then after I pray and I feel like, maybe I feel like more anxiety or I'm still feeling stressed out, I do breathing exercises. I've talked about this before, but breathing is what brings you back to this present moment right now, and your brain's not going in 1,000 directions to 1,000 different things at once. So allow yourself to breathe, inhale deep breaths and let them go. I do about 5 or 6 at a time, and then I just sit and try to feel what I'm feeling. I bring myself to the present moment, and it actually helps me calm my mind. And I also, I always have all these tasks that I have to do, but like breathing and meditation help me bring it back to right now. And I then delegate, or I look at what I actually have to get done, so I can close out a bunch of tabs, right, that are continuously running. So prayer and breathing exercises are the main 2 things that help me while I'm over capacity or I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed. After that, if none of that works, I have to write out how I'm feeling. So I've always talked about journaling. It's because it's the best thing that's worked for me. So, I take about 5 or 10 minutes and grab a piece of paper and write it out. So, I'm feeling stressed out. I'm feeling like I don't have enough time. I'm feeling like I'm exhausted. I'm feeling like my brain just doesn't shut off. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling like I need some help and nobody's going to help me. I feel like screaming. I feel like whatever it is that you're feeling, write it out, so that it helps you kind of just put it on paper, and it's a way of releasing those emotions and those thoughts, and they're no longer clogging your brain either. Because if you keep putting information into your brain, you're still going to be at overcapacity and you're going to feel more exhausted, right? So learn to journal through or write down what you're feeling so that you can like do a brain dump. That's what I like to call it. I don't know what other people call it, but it actually helps. And then after that, if I'm still feeling overwhelmed and I just cannot get out of that state, I go to sleep. I think in our culture of today, a lot of people got into the hustle culture, which means that you have to always keep going and going and going. When in reality, when you're over capacity, you're not going to be able to focus. You are wasting your time because you're struggling through your work, and it's because your brain needs a rest. Usually I like to do time blocks, so I'll work for 25-30 minutes at a time, and then I'll take 5-minute breaks in between so that my brain actually gets a rest. And that doesn't mean that I go on my phone when I'm taking a break, but I actually close my eyes and I do nothing, because that way my brain is actually resting and I'm not feeling like I'm continuously just doing tasks or feeding it with information. So I truly, feeling over capacity, that's exactly what it is. You just need a break. And because of this hustle culture, I feel like a lot of us are like, no, I can't rest until I'm done with this. I can't rest until I hit that goal. I can't rest until I hit this X amount of money. But in reality, when you're over capacity, emotionally, mentally, or whatever else, you need to rest. So I've learned to take naps. And I'm not saying like nap your whole day away either. It's like a 25-minute nap at the most. But I take naps now to just feel refreshed and allow myself to rest. And kind of just repeat all of that over and over and over and over again. And I've been doing this for about 5 months now, I want to say, and it's been amazing because I do my best work in the morning. So now that's another thing. You want to keep track of your energy levels. My other friend, Jaslyn, she was just on the podcast last episode that we launched here. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. But Jaslyn works really well during nighttime. So those are her peak hours of energy. So she'll be up from, I want to say like 10 p.m. to like 2 a.m. But she will do her best work during that time. So she time blocks it and, make sure that nobody bothers her so she can get everything done that she needs to, because that's when her creative brain turns on. For me, my creative timeline or my most productive time is in the morning. So I'll wake up at 3:30, 3:50 and get in the gym, do my morning routine, and then get an hour in of work before I even start my 9 to 5. And that's where my highest productivity levels are at too, because I'm so alert and I'm so creative and I'm so inspired. So try to figure that out for yourself too. Time block your time. Like I said, I work for 25-30 minutes, 45 at the most, and then I take a 5 to 10 minute break and I do nothing in between. I don't look at my phone, I don't look at my emails, I don't talk to anybody. I just sit and let my brain rest so that I don't feel like I'm, over capacity, right? Um, and, I always used to be in a reactive state because if you didn't know this, that's you being in a reactive state and not a proactive state. A proactive state means that you are taking your breaks and you're allowing yourself to go through the motions so that you can actually take the right step forward and not forcing yourself to work. That's a reactive state. Or when you wake up in the morning and the first thing that you do is, look at your phone. Now you've gotten your brain to be in a reactive state instead of a proactive state. So get off your phone for a little bit. Allow yourself to not look at your phone so often, and so your brain also gets a break, because you're always consuming. Like, you're always consuming, and your brain gets tired. You get tired. You get exhausted. And it was funny because before I figured all this out, I would come home from my 9 to 5 exhausted, and I did no physical work. All I did was be on meetings and calls and, trying to get, sales done or whatever it is. And I was exhausted, where I just wanted to come home and like disconnect from my brain and watch TV. But in reality, it was because I wasn't doing the right proactive things to get myself to take breaks during the day so that my brain didn't feel at full capacity. So think about that too, right? Like, how many times do you look at your phone? Do you need to look at your phone every 5 minutes, 13 minutes? And, figure out ways that you can detach yourself from your phone as well. And we have a lot of emotions. We have a lot of things going on in our life, work, and passions, and everything else. So just try your hardest to figure out exactly what your passion is, what you actually want to work on, what priorities you have for that specific day. My mindset mentor is really good at telling us to, delegate and be focused on the number one thing that we have to get done. So in his book, Level Up, if you haven't read that, you should. He talks about, having 3 main things to do every day, and to write them down on note cards and carrying them around with you so that you can have them and and get them done. I'm sorry. So you have them with you all day, and then you just kind of start crossing things out of them or get rid of them as you finish. But 3 things that will move the needle to the goal that you have, that will move the needle to be actually productive and not just busy, which is another thing. We're always so busy. We're always on the go. We're always thinking that one task is probably better than the other, but taking the time to be proactive and plan out your day and say, okay, these are the main 3 things or 4 things that I need to get done today so that I can get closer to this finish line. I'm going to do them, will help you just not feel over capacity either, because I feel like we just get busy, and we don't get productive. So think about that. And allow yourself to feel and release what you need to so that you don't sit in this reactive state or this overcapacity mindset, because it will happen. And, if one day you can't get out of it, that's okay. Don't blame yourself. Don't think like, oh, I thought I learned how to do this and now I'm here, because it's happened to me too, right? So just remember that you need rest. You're not a robot. You're not a machine. Even your computer, think about it. Even your computer needs rest, because if you turn it on all day, it'll overheat and stop working properly and all these things. So if a computer needs rest, so do you. And so when you're feeling in overcapacity of any sort, take a moment. Take a breath, take a nap, eat some snacks, make sure you get enough sleep, and keep going with your day, right? And as always, I always have a Bible verse for you guys. And this week's Bible verse is actually in Isaiah 40, 29 through 31. And it says, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youth grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength, and they will soar on wings like eagles. They will not run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. So even God tells you, like, hey, come rest with me. Take a moment and rest with me. Put all your, all of your worries on me, and I will give you new strength. And I found it cool how it said even the young young people, the youth, grow tired and weary, because I have a 3-year-old son, and I think that he has the most energy all day. Throughout the whole day, he's just like jumping off walls and being very active. But at the end of the day, he's like exhausted and goes to sleep like this, right? So even the youth gets weary and tired. So allow yourself to take a rest. Allow yourself to become aware when you're feeling overcapacity, and don't feel bad for taking a break. Give yourself grace and allow yourself to always be aware of how you're feeling. When your mind, when your brain starts just feeling full, do what I like to call a brain dump. So, write down everything that you are feeling, write down everything that you have to do. Then actually having it in front of you will help you kind of delegate and see what you actually have to do, right? So anyway, I hope you guys found this some value in this video, and that you guys come back next week. And if you did like this video, please share, put it on your Instagram story, share it with a friend, and allow the Kingdom Culture family to grow, right? So remember that I love you, but that the Lord loves you more, always, always, always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, like I already said. And we'll see you guys next week. God bless.